What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your poker guy, and I am super excited. And this is some podcast which I think when I wanted to start, number one, I think who I must have reached out or whatever was Abhishek Goindi, and I have with me the OG of Indian poker and actually a very big ambassador of the game as well, and personally also a big fan. So thank you so much for taking time out, boss, and super happy to have you join in. He's the founder of Poker Bootcamp India, and he himself coaches there. So hey, what's up?
Thank you so much. I think you want to get to me first because you went alphabetically, bro. Like AB. Like it always happens to me since school. This has been happening to me. But here it's different though.
No, I was going with K. If you get the biggest brands on board first, then getting everyone else becomes easy. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
but it was more of a time constraint rather than anything else.
Oh yeah, of course. But anyway, super happy to have you. And today also we are not going to be discussing about you and your journey because that's like a separate thing. We're going to remove 3 hours for that later. So today we are going to do more about poker, studying poker, and what is step by step for poker. And we're going to talk a lot about Poker Bootcamp. So let's dive into that. I'm super excited to know details if you can share today. So let's go. First thing I have is poker 95% lose, 5% make money, ye wo. But coaching ka importance kya hai? What is the importance of coaching in poker? Imagine I'm a gutty player कि मेरे मन में जो है अरे चल रहा है अच्छा, I'm making money every month, थोड़ा थोड़ा down हो रहा है and things are going fine. So what is the importance of coaching, especially like what do you
अगर
feel?
skill game hai, to you need to learn the game and you need to be coached, right? So for example, it depends on it's like a sport, correct? Now, why do people get coached in cricket? Virat Kohli till today has a batting coach. He's the best batsman in the world, but till today he has a batting coach. He plays for India. Why? Just if people start understanding these small things, Cristiano Ronaldo still has a coach. LeBron James still has a coach. Roger Federer still has a coach. Novak Djokovic still has a coach. So the role of a coach is not to make sure that you're just winning. The role of a coach is to understand you and make sure that they get the best out of you. And they understand it's kind of like a relationship that grows because now if I'm coaching you, I need to understand your mood swings. I need to understand what motivates you. I need to understand how to get the best out of you on the court. I need to understand what works on you when you're down swinging, when you're up swinging. There's so much that goes around it because it's a whole. At the end of the day, they think it's an individual sport, but no, it's like tennis. If you look at what Djokovic does every time, he looks at his box, right? And the coach is telling him what to do, but he's going out there to perform. So similarly in poker, the coach is going to tell you, build a strategy with you, try to find exploits about your opponents, try to find your leaks, try to find things that you can't see. And in a nutshell, it's basically uncovering all the blind spots. So the focus is not on how much money you're making, right? This is what most people like keep their focus on. Yes, that's the end result. But coaching and why you need coaching is so that you can uncover every blind spot so that you can start growing.
Fair enough. Wow. It's like I already had sent you this question. Aisa lag raha because I was bang on. Okay. Perfect. So let's dive into how PBCI came across and how did you start? What are the origins of PBCI? How did you guys collab, you and Tanay first? And so why PBCI? What happened? Poker Bootcamp India, that is? Ye kaise hua?
Yeah. Basically, I was coaching and putting out content in my own capacity because what used to happen was I was here from day zero, I would say, in the industry, right? पता नहीं कितने साल हो गए. And every time I tell people I've been here since day zero, they automatically think I'm like 45 or 50. They're like, okay, how old are you? That's the first question I get. I'm like, it's not what you think. I just started young, right? So what happened along my journey was more and more people would just talk to me, interact with me, start asking me about like coaching. And I was always someone who, would just believe in like helping people, because I believe so much in this game. And I believe that it could give you so much that if more and more people saw it the way I saw it, the game would grow. So that was my base, like my baseline for helping people, right? I was like, the game is going to grow and it's going to benefit everybody. So I was putting out some content, and one day Tane basically reached out to me and said, you know what, you've been coaching MTTs in your own capacity. I was doing it for one or two guys, but not structured. It was more like from a helping perspective, just some hand histories, just some learnings. And then he said, I've been doing some PLO. How about we get together and do this because nobody else in India is doing this? And at that point in time, the live scene in India was growing. Rose tournaments hote the online live scene.
This is when 2018, 2019.
2019.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And then every time there were tournaments, so there were 300 people coming here. Nobody knew what was going on. And they would keep asking questions, and it was consuming a lot of time as well. And people were focusing on the wrong things, right? And people keep asking me like, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? How do you do that? So I saw that there was an opportunity here to help create awareness and information on people. Although there were multiple coaching sites available online, but I felt that the gap was huge because the language, the mindset, right? In India, was scene hi alag hai. If you tell someone you're playing poker, they'll be like, bro, jua khel raha hai, jua
Correct.
kaise bolunga, papa ko kaise bolunga. I have students who still like get coached, but they don't want to tell their parents that they're paying for coaching.
Correct.
Right? I'm like, bro, why would you? Just go out there and tell everybody. That's the only way we can change the perception, right? And if you're getting coached, then it's even better. So the whole idea was to start like changing the perception slowly in the way we could. So Tane came and said, you know what? Let's just put our skill sets together because you do PLO, I do MTTs, and he's better at operations and I'm just better at the marketing side of things and sales side of things. So we came together. We said, "Okay, experiment karte hain." I was going for the World Series of Poker then as well. So he's saying, "Ek do vlog karte hain. You tell me about your journey from there. You know, I'll tell you what I'm doing at the Delton poker rooms during the local tournaments." And then we just tried it out. And then we said, "Cool, let's just run an offline boot camp and see what the response is." You know, we just help a few people who want to come in. So we did an offline boot camp just to see what's up, and we got 2 people. Right, but that we were like, ठीक है, we'll test out the content, we'll see.
You're not living in Goa only, so कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. आ जाओ, 2 लोग आ जाओ.
Yeah, 2 लोग आने. Investment था थोड़ा because we booked a swanky villa and stuff like that. But there were 2 people who believed in us. I remember a few people were trolling us saying कि क्या coaching दोगे, you know, and all of that stuff. Yeah. And it didn't bother me because I'm like, you're not my audience. Like if you don't believe in what we're doing, you're not my audience, right? I believe in what we're doing. We believe in what we're doing, and I want people who believe in it and who trust us, right? And it was such a new industry because even now, like we're still
very
learning.
New.
We're still learning how to do it. You know, like what we started out and what we have today are 2 different things. You know, like we figured out so many things along the way, and yeah. So there were so many. So we just came together and we said, "ठीक है, कर लेते हैं थोड़ा." And one thing led to another, led to another, led to another. Then the pandemic hit, right? And when the pandemic hit, I was watching Modi and I was like, you know what, bro? मुझे लग रहा है लोग अंदर ही होने वाले हैं थोड़ी टाइम के लिए, and सबके पास टाइम है अभी. So let's move it online. You know, let's experiment online. So we did like a free webinar. We launched an online course in 4 days from the day of the pandemic, from the day Modi announced that it's going to be a 21-day lockdown.
Oh.
And within 4 days, because we already had some kind of content ready from the previous 4 months that we were doing, we just put that together and we launched it. And then we got like great response. And one thing led to another, led to another. Then we realized that, hey, you know, online is better. We just do it online. And we just stuck to doing it online after that.
And it's just that kind of thing that I'm right now, while you're saying this, I'm wondering why didn't I enroll at that time? Like, you know, I should have just got into that. So actually, fair enough. Yeah.
I would say actually, like on the contrary, enrolling now would actually be way more beneficial because we've also like come from a place where we had no idea about this.
Experimenting and now getting your product right.
Yeah, now we've got the content right, we've got the product right, we've got everything right, we've got the coaches right, we've got the scheduling right. You know, so back then, sometimes I do feel like, you know, like if I'd known better then, which is never going to be the case in an entrepreneur's journey, things could have been different. But hey, now we know better, so we can create that difference right now. Perfect, so I think, you know, as a blessing in disguise, it's better right now. But I can't thank the people enough who believed in us from day one, man.
I was just going to say that because you guys have produced some really nice winners, you know, like there's so many players who we keep on seeing it. We know that Acha Iska, like he is from Poker Bootcamp, you know, so that is fantastic.
You will be surprised, man. These guys have literally started their journey with us. So one of the things I realized, you know, I was watching one of these interviews, bro, one day, man, actually, my dad's from IIM, okay? And there was this Reliance CEO guy, and he was talking about India and lessons to learn in corporates and from India and, you know, like all of those usual TED Talk kind of guys. He made a very valid point, dude, which stuck with me, which is what I use in today's world. He's saying problem here, you know, like we're always focusing on the IIMs and the IITs and we want the best, we want the best, we want the best. He's like, imagine how India will grow as a country if we start focusing on the non-IITs and non-IIMs. He's like, what does IIT and IIMs do? They're pretty useless from a perspective. So I was like, I got really excited because me and my dad keep fighting about this because my dad's from IIM.
Correct.
So I got damn excited, bro. I was like, ye bata, banda mila mujhe.
Meri team mein, haan.
So I was like, so I started watching it and he basically makes a very interesting point. He's saying you're already at 95% or 97% when you get into an IIT or IIM. What does the IIT or IIM do? They take a 97% guy and they add 1 to 2% value to them. Make them 98, 99, and then they sell it. They sell these
and
guys.
And they take credit, maybe 100%. They take full credit, pretty much.
They take credit, and then they give these corporate guys or whoever it is and say, IIT se aaya banda. But the guy is already at 95% level.
Correct.
So they ran an experiment where they took guys who were at 5%, 10% level. Okay? And then they started adding value to these guys, and they made them managers in like places, they made them like team leads, and they started adding value. So they brought these guys from like 10% to 70%, right? And these guys started having a flourishing career, right? Because they got the opportunity to get trained. They got the opportunity to go through the grind, which was not happening if you didn't go to IIT or IIM. So they ran this experiment. They had picked up 2 people from the villages, 2 or 3 people, and then they ran this experiment. They trained them for 3-4 years. And then these guys grew up the ranks, and now these guys are having successful careers in corporates. They taught them English. They taught them a bunch of things. So that stuck with me when I saw it. And he's like, imagine what we can do to a country like India if we add value to the guys who are from 0 to 80.
Correct.
You know, screw the guys who are 95. They'll
manage. Yeah, they'll manage.
Right. So this stuck with me. And I'm like, dude, if 95% of people in India are losing in poker, you know, like that's where we should be adding the value. And that's our market. Now, the problem with the traditional stables, in my opinion, is basically like
you're taking the premium. You're taking the premium people.
तेरे पास पैसे नहीं है, तेरे पास skill है, तू आजा, हम दे देंगे तुझे. Which is nothing wrong. That's a business model.
Correct.
Like, the way I saw it was slightly different. I'm like, dude, if we have to grow this game, then we need to be focusing on the 0 to 95%. Because when they keep climbing up is when the funnel grows. And
exactly like what stock market में होता है. Because when you make money, तो आप जाके दूसरे को बोलते हो कि भाई मैंने Zerodha पे account बनाया और इतना 10,000 रुपए कमाया. Then people come in, automatically it trickles down. So yeah, you're right. If 0 to 95 make money, they'll kind of spread the game.
Yeah. So even if you can move that 95% losers to, let's say, 90 or 85, in my head, it's a big win, right? So, and then the other thing is I grew up watching a lot of sport. So grassroots development is something that always stuck with me. So like the Barcelona Academy or like Bangalore FC for that matter, you know, they have like these grassroots development programs, and I worked in sports for a while. So I realized that that's where it needs to happen, because you can't take a guy who's like randomly and teach him. You have to focus on grassroots. So PBCI started focusing on grassroots. We're like, bro, नए बंदे को उसको journey roadmap कैसे बनाए उसको? Because the problem I used to see was that people are coming, they would lose money, they would get demotivated and bounce.
Correct. Retention का problem है.
If you actually see now, like there are the top websites claim to have 30 million people or 3 million people, sorry.
Correct, 30 lakh.
Okay. But do you see how many users are
2000
there?
max active. 2000 max
1000,
active.
2000. अभी आजकल थोड़ा 2-3,000 के बीच में दिखने लग गया है. But this stuck with me. I'm like, why? Because they don't have that hand-holding process. They don't have the resources.
Correct.
And they come, they find the website, they lose money because it's a game of skill, right? It's purely a game of skill. And whatever the math doesn't work out for them. And then they lose money, they get demotivated, and then they leave.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that was our biggest motivation. We're like, dude, if we can even like reduce 15 or 20% of these guys to continuously start playing, you know, the game will grow. That's where we came from.
This is very nice. It's, in fact, I think it somewhere answers my question, which I had for you, was about what is the vision that you have with PBCI. And I think that kind of sums up your answer very well. You're worried about 0 to 95 because that will lead to the growth of the game eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect, yaar. And मैंने ये भी देखा है कि जो भी like I probably, let's talk about Radhika, let's talk about Aryan, let's talk about Anish, and let's talk about Abhimanyu Mittal. I've seen that so many people who've studied at Poker Bootcamp have become massive ambassadors of Poker Bootcamp. Like कितनी बार क्या होता है कि आपने 10th में पढ़ाई तो कर ली, but you're never going around boasting कि यार ये teacher अच्छी थी, ये था, ऐसा हुआ, स्कूल में इसने पढ़ा. I really see that it's a very close-knit thing. So there is something right which is happening at Poker Bootcamp. So what is that? Like, I don't want to know the entire student journey because that's a separate thing. But why this? Why this close bond?
So in one of these other podcasts, I learned that the culture is always set from the top.
Right.
So I realized that it was important for me to set that culture and set the tone and lead by example. Like I remember at one point when I was watching MS Dhoni on TV, he mentioned something when they asked him about the rankings. They're like, oh, India is now test number 1, India T20 number 1, world, Champions Trophy number 1. India was number 1. He said, I don't focus on the leaderboard. I just let my cricket and bat do the talking. Right. And then the leaderboard takes care of itself.
Correct.
And, you know, like small things like that. So he's like, all we discuss in the cricket team is how to win matches. We don't care if we want to be number 1. So that stuck with me, right? So I realized that the culture is set from the top. So for me, it became really important I was a backbencher in school, okay? And I'm the exact guy who never advocated for my school, okay? Like I was very, very frustrated in school because I never got to do what I wanted to do, right? And I was someone who loved my freedom. I was someone who liked to experiment and learn. I was not opposed to learning, but I was always opposed to forceful learning, like the way they taught. So one of the things I kept in the bootcamp is I realized that people were not learning because they were always scared to ask questions or they were scared to be wrong. So that was something which I made sure was never going to be the case. So one of the baselines for me was always encouraging everyone to like voice their thought, even if they were wrong, so that it gives them that sense of confidence and that sense of maybe types. And then it was very important to the technique to basically show them what the right thing is. Yeah.
Sorry, I think there was some internet this thing. Okay. Yeah. So that led to the technique of.
So it was about the technique, which is basically just the way I think about situations. Was okay, bro. There's no harm in being wrong. I've been wrong all my life. I'm still wrong, right? All these things that I thought in my head, like they keep popping, But it was just about encouraging these people to basically go out there and believe in themselves and basically like not be worried to make a mistake and not be worried that someone's going to be judging you, because these are small things in people's like careers and personalities and minds, which I thought was very important. So it was just more like playing with that and making sure ki like galti kar. And then also giving them a very realistic picture, being like, bro, ye hone wala hai. Like, don't worry about this. This is your roadmap. You can't come here and start becoming a winning player overnight. Right. It's going to take you time. And just creating that culture of trust, creating that culture of healthy competition. That was my goal. I was like, dude, I don't want you to feel jealous if someone's winning. If the other guy is coming to class, so just subtly doing these things, making sure that the culture of healthy rivalry was important. That's something I learned from sport, right? When I was in a team playing basketball for my school and in college, like for me, I didn't want to be like I wanted the other guy to motivate me to get better. Sure. Not getting jealousy, not feel bad that this guy is basically like better than me. And the key, which I learned from like basketball and sport and like Steph Curry for that matter, is how to enjoy each other's success.
Sure.
Which I don't see in poker. Like, because सामने वाला बंदा money maker जीत रहा है, उसको 20 पेटी आ रही है, सबकी जल रही है, right?
Yeah, but we see good amount of camaraderie. ऐसा तो लगता तो है. So it is. I mean, you would know better, but ऐसा. But you're saying that there is a tendency of that thing coming in. You're thoda.
Obviously, we're humans, right? At the end of the day, we're humans. Like, it's going to happen. But I'm not saying everybody's like that. I'm just saying there are some people who've imbibed that DNA and culture, and it shows. There's some people who've not, like, and it's very normal. Like, when you go to school, there'll be your toppers, there'll be your average guys, there'll be the guys who fail.
Correct.
It's the same thing. There's some guys who imbibe the culture, take the positives, and are going in with that mindset. There's some guys who don't, and they fall back. So it's just how humans are.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move to this thing. कि अभी एक student की journey discuss करते हैं. What happens at Poker Bootcamp? Now it's online completely, right? Yeah. So, okay, just give me a ballpark of number of students taught, and then for new people who are joining now from 1st October. What is the online journey? क्या करने वाले? No, not the course. Course के we'll do separate. Just what is their journey? Like, how do they spend the time? 3 months. कैसे होगा? Handholding क्या है पूरा?
So basically, like the initial course is called Hello Poker Foundation, right? Wherein all we discuss is the key concepts. We discuss like pot odds, equity, SPR, board textures, ABCD. There are tons of these concepts.
Correct.
The key concepts which we think are important to start off. Correct. And avoiding certain things, mistakes. You might know some of them. But the goal is to basically get in depth in each of these situations and get a decent understanding of it, right? Post that, we get into more like strategic gameplay. Post that, we get into more exploits. Post that, we get into higher concepts, which are also fundamental concepts. But you can't understand that unless you understand these. So it's like school. You can't go and start.
Second से चालू नहीं कर सकते. हाँ.
Second से चालू नहीं कर सकते, bro. तुझे LKG पे ही आना पड़ेगा.
हाँ.
जितना भी तेज बंदा है तू college में, मतलब अपने इलाका में, or you've grown up and your mom thinks you're super smart.
Right.
But you still come and study from LKG only because that is what is needed. And now you can't jump to MBA till you finish your 11th and 12th.
Absolutely.
That is what is needed. So now the goal for us in the last 3 years was to create LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So in my opinion, like spending 3 months at the camp gives you that access to all the content and the structured learning. But at the same time, it also gives you access to the other guys who've been a part of us for 2 years, 1.5 years.
Correct.
So not only are you going to understand from us, but you're going to see them as examples. They're the ones who's going to be precedent because they've started from LKG and they're coming out of your alma mater, right? Coming out of the journey. So it's like unse seek. See what they went through. Figure out how they overcame challenges because these are your live living examples. Correct. My journey has been different, right? But these are your live living examples. They've come through this journey. They've come through this roadmap and they would be able to guide you.
Got it. So that's what the journey is. You enroll, then you are. But ये जो अभी 1st October से चालू हो रहा है, it's advanced course, so it includes your foundation course as well. Yeah, it's a combined thing.
No. This is I would say senior secondary. So this is basically for people who already have a decent understanding and in-depth understanding of like the basic concepts.
Okay.
And this is more about people who are finding it tough to basically like crack algebra or trigonometry. You know, उनको 1+1 आता है, 2+2 आता है, multiplication, division, subtraction. But they're finding it tough in these situations. So they're finding it tough in, like, for example, ICM situations, which is, or bubble situations, or running deep in tournaments.
So जो bubble तक पहुंच ही नहीं रहा है, तू रुक जा.
Yeah. अगर you're bubble पे आ रहे हो तो आ जाओ. You know,
got
bubble
it.
के बाद if you're facing some problems, you know, then you have to come. You know, if you're facing problems कि अगर सामने से कोई बंदा 3-bet कर रहा है and you're not sure, and those kind of problems, then come. Right? If you understand कि okay, these are situations I'm getting stuck in, come. This is the course for you.
Okay.
Right?
How many students have we taught till date?
Man, over 200.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How is Poker Bootcamp different from any other coaching? Like, what do you, and personal level, but not like a sales pitch. I mean, what do you feel is different compared to other places? Like, whatever, be it your even or Raise Your Edge or anywhere, whatever you want to.
Firstly, it's way more cost effective, right? Way more cost effective, right? Second, I come from a different experience. Raise Your Edge comes from a different experience. I come from the Indian background, Indian mindset, Indian parents, Indian culture, Indian education. So connection with me and Indian folks is way easier than someone who's from the West. वो बोलेगा bro मैं 18 साल से अपने घर के बाहर निकला. You know, I told
I'm managing.
Daddy. So understanding their family problems, understanding their wife problems, understanding their girlfriend problems, understanding what their dada is going to think about the situation. You know, so that connect cannot be substituted in our opinion, because we have all in-house coaches who are all Indian, number one, right? So we all have faced the same barriers and same challenges, and we can give you the right advice based on the challenges that we face, which the West
It's a complete thing, not just this thing. We understand the situation a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better, you know, so we understand it, you know, that's number one. Number two. Number three, with your Raise Your Edges of the world and the rest, your BBCs of the world, they're too technical, number one. They're already basically designing it for higher secondary or MBA or PhD. They don't teach you the base, which is your 0 to 95%. They're catering to your 95% above already.
I felt the same. The same. Correct. Right.
So they're catering to you about 95%. So that itself is a different market altogether. Right? And number four, they don't really have an interactive form of learning, which we do. Like I would be on a Zoom call, or the other coaches would be on a Zoom call, and we're going through an interactive form of learning. And we're also available outside of those hours. I mean, it's tough for us to reply because itne sare log hain, but it's not like we're not reachable outside of those hours as well. You know, so there are lots of different advantages that we have. Plus, you know, the language barrier, man. Like we have so many people who are not comfortable in English, right? So when they come in Hindi, like it's easy for us to explain to them as well. You know, so काफी सारे edges हैं.
Okay. When I ask you, what should a student expect? Like, अगर मैं अभी आपको enroll कर रहा हूँ, I'll just keep it a little bit Hindi. मैं enroll कर रहा हूँ. Cost effective, yes, for sure, because बाकी का सब है, but still 3 months का I'm paying 50,000 rupees for people who are, again, though this is more targeted at a mid-stake and kind of lesser than a mid-stake kind of player, but still for people who are paying 50,000 and there are people who want to join, what is the result that you tell? Like, I'm sure you can, of course, it's like you cannot guarantee a result. बट कैसे होता है? what does the student expect? यार मैं कर रहा हूँ, कोचिंग भी डाल रहा हूँ इसमें, तो मैं क्या एक्सपेक्ट करने की ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, एंड रिजल्ट्स क्या आएंगे? सो इज देयर अन आंसर टू दैट?
या सिंपल सी बात है, बेसिकली कम विद एन ओपन माइंड एंड डोंट एक्सपेक्ट टू मेक मनी ओवरनाइट. मैं ये सबको बोलता हूँ बिफोर दे एनरोल. आई एम लाइक ब्रो, तू इधर आ रहा है, डोंट थिंक कि जैसे ही तू आएगा पैसे छापने लग जाऊंगा. राइट? कम हियर बिकॉज यू वांट टू लर्न, नॉट बिकॉज यू वांट टू स्टार्ट मेकिंग मनी इंस्टेंटली. Not because you're like, अरे मैं हार रहा हूँ, मैं वहां जाके मैं जैसे मैं सीखूंगा मैं तुरंत पैसे बनाऊंगा. No, that's not the expectation we want. And if that's the expectation you're coming with, I'm telling you right away, नहीं होने वाला है. Because it's a game जहाँ time लगेगा. You know, so come with an open mind. कम की क्या क्या सीख सकता हूँ मैं, गलतियाँ क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं, कौन सी गलती उसको सीख मतलब करेक्ट कर सकता हूँ मैं, और what is the thing that I can learn that I can start using in my game. You know, because कि अभी ये मेरा गेम है, अभी क्या क्या अपने गेम से हटाऊं, क्या क्या अपने गेम से क्या क्या अपने गेम को इंक्लूड करूं, like what should I include in my game, right? And then मैं आगे कैसे बढ़ाऊं. And then obviously the thing you can expect is great roadmaps, right? So we give like a roadmap for every player, in the sense we tell them कि ठीक है, this is where you are, this is where you think you should go based on your situation, in the sense कि अगर उनका काम है, उनके पास टाइम कितना है खेलने का, उनके बीवी बच्चे हैं, you know, like single है. So we try to give a more like customized roadmap rather than a one size fits all roadmap, you know. So that is something they can come here to expect. And then eventually, obviously, they 3-4 महीने के बाद they will start winning, right? I'm not saying they won't win in the first month, ये नहीं बोल रहा मैं, बहुत सारे लोग 2 हफ्ते के अंदर अंदर ही जीतने लगेंगे, बट वो इस एक्सपेक्टेशन के साथ मत आना, and then the best thing is obviously like you would get to meet people who've been there,
Sure.
so a lot of times what happens is मैंने ये भी देखा है कि नए students tend to take a liking towards the existing students who've basically been here for long and have trusted this long enough and have invested their time here, right? So they can also help these guys. So it's not like कि class पे ही मतलब वो help हो रही है, class के outside भी help हो रही है. And it's basically a skill that you're going to learn. So it's an investment in you. The thing is वो एकदम investment है अपने अंदर, because swimming की तरह है bro. एक बार swimming सीख लोगे तो उसके बाद go swim now.
Absolutely. What do you guys expect from the student? Because you just answered that we customize the roadmap, which is a very important skill because everyone's not same. A very important thing. तो ऐसा कैसे होता है? What are you expecting of the student? ऐसा कुछ है कि भाई तेरे को इतना वॉल्यूम डालना ही पड़ेगा, 10 MTT तेरे को 2 दिन में खेलना ही पड़ेगा, I don't know, like something like that करना ही पड़ेगा, इतना टाइम पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी, or is it just attend my coaching and after that do you all have study material or anything like that, which you have to
No,
put
we have
time?
study material. We have study material. We have recommendations. We have suggestions. In fact, we also recommend them certain courses and certain videos from outside of the bootcamp. We're like, iske video sahi hai, uske video sahi hai. So we're also learning from all our global, I won't say competitors, but allies.
Yeah,
right? Because,
yeah. In this industry, I don't see it's competition only. Yeah.
There's so many times I'm like, yo, you need to watch this video about Ben CB, or you need to watch this video about Jordan, or go watch this video about Galfond. So I say that to all these guys. I'm like, bro, ye wala concept tu isse seek because it's better than ask me. Correct. I can solve these doubts, right? So that happens, but what I need from them is just to come with an open mind and come with a heart of learning, bro. Nothing else, and not come with a heart of like asking for too much, because एक चीज इंडिया में देख लिया bro, like they try to squeeze everything from you, right?
ऐसा दिया तो that's why I asked you, हाँ, कि मतलब,
so this is something we've been facing a problem because ये Indian mindset है, और ये मुझे पता भी है because it's a very Indian thing, right? So the thing is like इतना दे रहा हूँ, sometimes that happens, आप इतने sessions करा रहे हो, आप एक और 2 और free session करा दो, ये करा दो, वो करा दो, and हम लोग कभी कभार करते भी हैं. It's not like we're hard and fast sometimes because we understand it, and sometimes like if you actually get trained by a white like a Western coach or a white coach, you will see on the dot they will bounce, like 9 बजे मतलब 9 बजे उसके ऊपर sorry bro I'm done. But हमारा हो जाता है कभी कभार 9 सवा 9, like 9:30 भी होता है कभी कभार मैं बाद में भी फोन कॉल करते हैं. So वो थोड़ा वो इंडियन वाला कल्चर है उसमें थोड़ा सा, like little more chill.
That person, I get it. Yeah.
So when they come, they just have to come to like learn and come with a positive attitude and mindset. Like I don't want someone like, I don't expect them to keep complaining about like beats मिल रहे हैं या ये हो रहा है या वो हो रहा है. बस आओ.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. Just come learn, have fun, man. That's all I keep telling everyone. I'm like, just have fun.
For a beginner who can't afford this right now, because you have someone who's good, who's doing fine, he's coming 7th and 10th, and he's in your ITMs and this, that, and now he's like, I can't afford this. 50,000, aisa nahi hai, like I can't do it. Is there, what does Poker Bootcamp do anything for these people? Is there something like that?
We actually reduced it from 150 to 50. That was number one. But we do understand कि एक और market है. अभी तक तो नहीं है, in the sense we've realized because when we look at it from our perspective also, it's a lot of work and time and cost, and we also have to forego a lot of our playing for this.
Yeah.
But right now we've not, but we do have a couple of things in the pipeline where we're thinking of coaching for profits, or we're thinking of a couple of different, like maybe like a video model key matchup where we give like let's say videos for like cheaper but no interactions.
Sure.
So that's something in the but we've not really like it's an idea. It's sitting on the desk. I'm not.
But for this course, for 1st October, do you have something like where people say, okay, 3 months, can I pay monthly? Is there like
so we give installments, 2 installments per month is what we do. We say, okay, you can pay 50% at the start of the month, and then 50% like at the end of the end of the 45th day. So
okay.
25 in the first month before you start, and 25 after like the 30th of there's a protocol. We have a guy who so there's either the 30th.
So there is a provision. Got it.
There is a provision to pay in installments. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Do you have this feeling like you're a coach there? कभी ऐसा होता है कि यार नहीं यार, I just shipped the high roller for 5,50,000 rupees. Why am I like, okay, do I need to do coaching? And like just if from a business standpoint, I'm talking about, okay, why am I putting my time here? Does that ever happen to you, or like does that ever come into play?
No, in fact, I love putting my time. And when I shipped the high roller, the first thing I did was I did a hand history, right? I did my own hand history with someone else, and then I did my hand history with someone else, right? Where I was like getting insights. I was like, tell me what the thing is. And I love it because what I realized about coaching was the feeling of giving. And I realized that when I'm coaching, I'm actually getting better. So, like I said, my goal is not about the 5 lakhs that I made. My goal is like, how do I go out there and crush further? Right? What are the mistakes I made? So for me, it's about just getting better at the game. Like the money is huge, obviously, aspect of the game. If you were not winning money, we wouldn't be playing. But it's like, hey, how do I increase my consistency? How do I increase my ROI? So I actually love coaching. But I'm not I don't like the execution and operational stuff. I like coaching and like guiding people and, mentoring them and showing them industry, showing them tactics, strategy in game. The operation stuff is something that I don't enjoy too much. Tony likes that. Yeah.
Okay, I want to just run through the course right now. Okay, so if एक बार खाली उस पे we'll pretty much about the course is what I have. So Owen Shields is there. He's a coach at Run It Once, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is his role in this entire next 3 months? This thing first, and then we'll go through the course. So what is his role?
So he's a coach along with me. So he focuses on the more technical aspect of the game. Okay. And he's brilliant. He's been with Run It Once, so you know how good he is. Like his course is probably one of the best selling courses. So he's been actually with us for almost 6 months now. So he brings in all the theory, the solver, the exploits. I mean the theory, the solver, the technical aspects of things, and the concepts and the baseline in poker. And that's his role from in the boot camp. So he brings in all the technical aspects of the game. What I will be providing is obviously like my knowledge of the Indian field, my knowledge of the Indian players, my knowledge of how to beat these guys, my knowledge of their psychology, the exploits, and the adjustments that you have to make against these players. So I think together it's great because he brings in the entire technical aspect, the concepts, what needs to be learned, how it has to be viewed, and what the right thinking is from a theoretical standpoint. And he's also very good with in-game. Don't get me wrong. He's actually very good with in-game. We've been doing a couple of hand history sessions with each other off the bootcamp. We become friends. So now we just do a couple of hand history sessions where he reviews my hands and stuff as well. And he's really good in-game. He understands it. But it's just that obviously he's not playing these fields. So he's not very dialed into what this player is exactly doing. But he's still very good. He knows. Like if you put him in this field, he'll crush it. So that's where my edge comes in. My edge comes in from the fact that I bring in the experience of this field coupled with him, and it becomes even stronger.
Before I move, suppose आपने लिखा है 3 betting strategies होगा, what to do in 3 bet होगा. Before we go a little more into that, मुझको एक चीज समझा दो. मैं join कर रहा हूँ. मैंने session attend किया. Usually 8 o'clock in the night होगा या 9 o'clock. I don't know. I'm just assuming ऐसा 1 घंटे का होगा. 24 sessions, right? Yeah. So उसके अलावा क्या होगा? Because okay, so I have another job and I have this. So what is going to happen besides that? What do I need to do besides that 24 sessions?
So what you need to do besides that 24 sessions is to play. Like you need to play, record your sessions. Because when you record your sessions, we review it. We kind of watch your gameplay. So it's like once you record it, we can review it so that we know that ठीक है ये ऐसा खेल रहा है, पार्थ ऐसा खेल रहा है या पार्थ वैसा खेल रहा है. तो यहाँ पे गलतियां कर रहा है पार्थ, इसको करेक्ट करना चाहिए या ये इस पे पिकअप करो, ये यहाँ पे गलती कर रहा है. So it's recording your sessions is extremely important because that's the only way you can get better at the game. I don't know how you're playing. Otherwise, it's just going to remain a conversation. So I don't know what you're learning and I don't know if you're executing it. Because I can teach you 3 betting. But if I see you not executing it correctly, then I can like correct you. But if I teach you 3 betting, आप theory समझ गए, but जाके खेल के
apply तो कर नहीं रहे हो. Correct.
Then it's different, right? Like you're not gonna like learn much. So playing is very important. And I tell this to everybody. I'm like, don't join the camp if you're not gonna be playing. Right?
But उसके बाद you all will check each and every recording. Suppose you send weekly 2 recordings and then you check that and then you're again going to get on a separate discussion for that, or is it like in the session only that gets covered?
No, so it's a separate discussion as a separate session. So we have hand history sessions and then we have theory sessions. So theory mein basically we'll tell you what the concept is. We'll tell you how to arrive at the concept. We'll tell you what the situation looks like and what you should be doing, right? Conceptually, right? But in the sessions is basically what we look like. Are you doing that? Are you actually applying what you're learning?
And then everyone will discuss together कि वो hand history पे क्या चल रहा है, कि ये इसको ऐसे कैसे खेलना चाहिए था. So maybe is it like a 12 session kind of thing? 12 session ऐसा, 12 session ऐसा.
I'm not sure of the exact breakup. Whether it's 12 and 12, but it looks like it's going to be more hand histories and lesser theory because it's still because you see way more spots in hand history. So it's very important to see a lot more things in hand histories.
Sure.
So it'll probably be like I think 30% theory, 30 to 40% theory. I'm not sure the exact number of sessions. So a lot of times it's also freestyling because then depending on the batch, we do make certain adjustments. Like we do make certain adjustments and we're like, okay, with this batch, maybe we'll do an extra hand history. But there is a structure that is in place. who handles our structure will be a better suited to explain this.
Perfect, awesome. And जिसका maths जो weak होता है, like there's a lot of math involved in this. Is there like focus on math given कि भाई कहाँ से करना है, कैसे करना है? Does that happen usually?
नहीं, maybe I should add that in the expansion program. Like maybe एक math teacher रखो, एक रामानुजम रखो. Maybe that's the expansion plan. But no, it's actually simple math. It's basic math. Yeah, the numbers can be a little enticing. But math to chahiye, bro. Like you need a little bit of math, but basic math. There's shortcuts, but we need some math.
Okay, coming to the last session, what you will learn. Back to basics, why poker is profitable, fundamental concepts, player profiling. So is it just what it is? Basically that ये lag है, ये attack player है, ये ऐसा है. Is that what is being taught? 3 betting strategies. उसमें क्या आएगा कि मुझे कौन से position में कभी 3 bet करना है? Like
कभी और क्यों? Like, what are you going to achieve? What are the factors you want to be seeing as to why to 3 bet? So it's not. So the thing is in poker, no, the problem is this कि इतना सारा information है कि
structured नहीं है.
Structure नहीं है, and you can like learn from one video. वो कुछ बताएगा, कोई और बंदा कुछ और बताएगा. But there's no holistic strategy, right? Correct. And the thing with poker is it's all about like missing information and all about like making your best decision based on the information available to you. Correct. Right? So you have to like focus on all the variables. You have to be like, ठीक है, अगर बंदा lag है, तो इसकी range क्या है? कितना lag है? क्या वो ये ace king खेलेगा या मतलब sorry ace deuce खेलेगा या is he the type to play ace 10? So there are follow-up questions that you have to ask. Like being lag is just one big bracket. Like understanding. So getting more detailed in that player profiling, getting more detailed with the decision tree, because it's like an if-then-else statement. If the player does this, then what should we do? Else what should we do? Right? If the player is doing this, then what should we do? Else what we should do? And it's about building assumptions on those players. Now, if I'm sitting with you and playing, right? How am I going to start like building a strategy until I start like working on you? Right? So what is that approach or mindset, or what are those variables you have to look at? Okay, so 3 bet karo, like this, the solver or HRC or ICMizer will show you what to do technically, right? But if you start doing that, you get rammed, which is why we're doing kind of like the back to the basics, because what is happening is लोगों को वैसा खेलना है, क्योंकि इतना सारा कंटेंट है, लोग बोल रहे हैं भाई मुझे ऐसे ही खेलना है, मुझे GTO ही खेलना है, सॉल्वर बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे ace5 suited jam है. But if you start doing that, you start getting rammed. And we've been seeing a lot of players make these mistakes, which is why we've launched this. Sure. Because even within the camp, you'll be surprised. Guys who've been with us for 1.5 years also making these mistakes, right? They're getting their mindset, their strategy is they get carried away sometimes. They move too far ahead of the curve. So the whole idea of like, bro, तेरे पैसे यहाँ से बनेंगे. That's why it's how is it going to be profitable? We're going to be showing you where is that EV coming from. Don't think that just because ace5 is showing a profitable jam on solver, जाके करो. That's not the point. Like come, we'll show you where the EV is coming from. We'll show you what you need to be doing. At the end of the day, Virat Kohli still scores like 70 out of 100 runs through like ground shots and cover drives. It's like only 2 or 3 sixes in a game. Like it's not like he's hawa mein uda raha hai sab kuch. So the Indian poker players, they want to like jam ace5 all the time, but that's like trying to hit a 6 every ball. It's not gonna. I've seen you stream, yeah, man. You also do it all the time, and I'm like, yeah. The first time I was like, ye kyun kar raha hai ace3 jam? I'm like, then I learned. There's so much there. So absolutely, yeah. I understand. तो कब छक्का मारना है वो देखना है ना, छक्का कब मारना है, ace3 कब करना है. That's when you have to figure it out. जब बॉल आ रही है ऊपर, टॉस हो रहा है, so all of those small things. Absolutely. Okay. So because this was a dedicated Poker Bootcamp podcast, I think I've covered quite a bit. I've tried going too much in depth and getting a lot of data out from you. And I think it's going to be awesome. And for everyone wanting to join, I don't have a discount code, but I do look forward to join Poker Bootcamp India. We can work some discount code out. That's not a problem. That'll be awesome. Let's do that. Yeah. I'm going to get this live and we can do that out. Done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, boss. And I think this will be an impactful thing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, bro. I'll see you soon. Bye.